What is behind the success of top-performing real estate agents and mortgage lenders? What tactics, strategies, and lessons learned have they used to break through and achieve elite status? Top-performing real estate and mortgage specialists from across the country answer these questions and so much more right here on Real Talk with Homes for Heroes. So grab your pen and paper because we are about to get real. Now, here is your host of Real Talk with Homes for Heroes National Director, Abby Waltz.
Hey there, and welcome to our final episode of Real Talk with Homes for Heroes for the year. Don't worry, it's not our last one ever. We're just taking a short break from the show to plan for some exciting new guests and content we'll be bringing to you next year. Stay tuned for more information in 2021. I know the anticipation and excitement is almost unbearable, but in all seriousness, though, we appreciate you tuning into the show and hope that you have a gratitude-filled Thanksgiving and a wonderful holiday season. All right, on this week's show, I am joined by a 20-year veteran and top-producing mortgage specialist, our very own Homes for Heroes Rookie of the Year, Russell Murphy. While his tremendous success is hard to overlook, his simple approach and philosophy that has earned him that success is something that a lot of professionals in our industry have a tough time seeing or doing, for that matter. He attributes his success to a few basic things that he has mastered: being yourself, listening so you can serve others' needs, and focusing on achieving the results the client wants. He shares how DISC personality profiling was a game changer for him, the career-changing realization that you don't have to be everything to everyone, and how knowing yourself well enough to be, pardon the buzzword here, authentically you will enable you to play to your strengths so you actually enjoy your work and your life and can deliver an exceptional customer service to your clients. This episode is all about impact, not income. While yes, the income will absolutely ensue, it's by focusing on the impact you can make in the lives of others that is truly what brings about the income and success and desired outcome we all aspire to achieve. Are you ready? Let's get real with Russell Murphy. See you all next year. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 71 of Real Talk with Homes for Heroes, where each week I am joined by one of the nation's top producing real estate and mortgage professionals willing to share the secrets behind their success. I'm your host, Abby Waltz, National Director here at Homes for Heroes. I am so excited to have you a part of our conversation today. As you can see, I've got my very special guest with us already, but before I go ahead and introduce him, just one real quick housekeeping thing. For those of you that are joining us live, being a part of our virtual audience via Zoom, there is a great chat section. We monitor that throughout the entire show. If you've got questions or if you've got something that's shared that just really resonates with you, please go ahead and type that into that chat section and we'll bring it into the conversation along our journey today as we talk to Russell Murphy, top affiliate out of Cedar Park, Texas, which you were just saying it's the Austin area, right?
Correct. Yep. We are Northwest Austin.
Yeah. Russell is our Rookie of the Year for 2019. He closed, it was over 70 deals in your first year with us. I know you closed 65 in 2019 alone, but you didn't start with us until I think it was March from looking back with it. But you're getting up there. You're in our 100 Heroes Serve Club already. You haven't even been with us for 2 years. You are a rock star mortgage specialist for us. So I'm super excited to have you a part of the show today. I gave you a little bit of history on your background, at least with Homes for Heroes, but tell me a little bit more about yourself, how you got into the mortgage industry and kind of where you find yourself today.
Sure. No, and thank you. I'm excited to be affiliated with such a great organization as Homes for Heroes. And that's a really easy question in the mortgage industry because you very rarely meet anyone who started out and says, hey, I'm going to end up in mortgages. We all have a story of how we got here. I was selling insurance, with my dad around, late 90s. And and I had buddies that were in mortgages and looked at it as, one day my dad may retire, I may move into his spot, and I'll look back in 30 years and wonder, could I have done it on my own? So my buddies convinced me to just get out of insurance altogether and got into mortgages. We ran, my goodness, we started out with whatever money we could pull together. And we saved enough money and bought, if you remember the old heat transfer fax machines, and that doubled as our office copier. And we were closing about 40 loans a month somehow, despite ourselves. And, things have just, grown and evolved, and, we've done with it, over the years. But definitely have enjoyed the move for certain.
Very cool. So when did you get into the mortgage business?
I believe it was in 2000. Is when we got into the business back then. So
okay,
a lot of change.
Good times.
Yes. Yeah, we were very still heavy VA loans, back then. Didn't get really involved with the subprime, did some of those things, but mainly did focused on VA, which is what I still gravitate towards these days. Okay.
Just a total tangent before we get into how your team looks today. What pulled you the VA loans?
One, the opportunity, and then two, again, the opportunity to serve. I mean, anybody can get a mortgage. Not everybody can get a VA mortgage. You're dealing with a different group in our society that is probably underserved, and we probably could all agree on that. And so that I enjoy that, the opportunity to give back. Back when we first started, we had no money. We had no money for FedEx and things like that. We would drive to people's homes. We would say we were in Atlanta at the time, and we would target, say, Birmingham. Well, we would set a 7, 8, and 9 o'clock appointment in Birmingham, and it was about a 2.5 hour each way. And you would go there and sit in their living room and go through, and you really get to know the people. And, and you get home 2 or 3 in the morning and do it the next day. But that's what we did. And sometimes you miss those days, of going and everything's now so automated, and it has come so far advanced of I'll just scan it on my phone and get you that document. Wasn't like that. You would have to stand in line at the VA to get a COE, in those days. I mean, everything's not as automated. So I do like that. I do enjoy, and hearing those stories and how they're about their times of service. And of course, they're always willing to talk to you about those things as well. Next time you see a veteran, spend a few minutes. There's definitely some things we could all learn.
Yeah, definitely. I was just curious personally, because VA loans they can be challenging. There's a stigma that comes with them, at least in our industries, both mortgage and real estate. So to gravitate towards that right out the gate is actually, I think, a really cool, very unique thing that you did. For sure.
I mean, that was what we were setting out to do. Have they always been easy, or no? Have we fallen on our face? Absolutely. When I got hired on, I knew nothing about a mortgage. And there were, the guys I was working with were, don't worry, we're going to go on your first 6 appointments with you. And, we'll coach you through that. Third day on the job, phone call comes in. It's me and one other guy there. And he's like, man, you're on your own. So I drive across town, and the guy I've got everything. He was painting his porch, and he says, I got everything on the table. Call me when you're ready. I'm in there for 45 minutes trying to figure out what a note is, going through his documents, had no clue what I was looking on. No one I was calling was answering. He saw right through that I was green as all get out. And, of course he let me take the application, but we didn't close the loan. But yeah, I mean, we've all, learned through our failures and mistakes for certain.
Yeah. Hey, you got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
For sure. So you have grown, I'm sure, over the years from 2000 to 2020. I mean, that's quite some time to be in one industry. What's your team structure look like now?
So now I run a small team of about 7 loan officers on myself. We have 3 processors. We have a processing assistant. That helps, doing some of the setup, everything for them. And, it's a great team. We're all as good as our team is. And, we have good vendor partners that we work with as well, in title companies and then what have you. But that's our team. I love coming to work and being around, these guys. I am a branch of a much larger organization based out of state. And, we have good communication with our corporate office as well. And I love it. It's definitely a good fit for, my work family and my personal family, here in Texas.
Yeah, definitely. You talk a lot about that work-life family balance. I'm curious to know, life of one loan originator, right? Just being on your own, not having a team, and transitioning to more of a branch manager and leading other team members. That's a big switch. Not everybody can make that jump. Not everybody should make that jump, because sometimes it's just about production and not necessarily leveraging other people and helping them be better and do better. Like, different people have different strengths for that. What made you make the jump from being a solo mortgage professional to now being a team leader?
Different challenges and different opportunities. Like I said, we've learned a lot, from past mistakes. I like to teach and show someone, look, don't do what I did. Skip that failure, go straight into this. And it is very rewarding for me to watch someone come in, learn the business, build a pipeline, and keep a pipeline, and honestly make some money. I mean, that's why one of the reasons, we come to work is provide for our family. And I enjoy that. I enjoy other people having success. And, of course, when everyone's having success, there's a great synergy, in the office. Everyone is very helpful. I've got some guys on our team that are very knowledgeable and can take my job anytime they need it to. And, they help out as well. They don't just say, oh no, go ask your manager. Everyone helps. And I think that is a very key to success in our office, is the synergy that we enjoy.
Very cool. Yeah, definitely. When you're working hand in hand and all rowing in the same direction, you can absolutely accomplish so much more and get there much more quickly.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So give me a sneak peek behind that leadership curtain, if you will. What's one of the key things that you always make sure you teach one of your new people to skip forward on a failure that you've made before? Does one come to mind? Just reiterating guidelines, things like that. One of the main things that I focus with on them is to be themselves. There, it's like, back to guidelines. I can teach you all of them. You can read them all, but there are qualities that you have that we can't teach you. And trust those, use those, and those are really going to be, your strength is just be you. Whether it's on the phone or in person. And, don't be scripted or anything like that. We do a lot of mailers, around the country and things like that. And just, treat people like they're your best friend. That is probably one of the key things. Other than that, I probably run what some people would say maybe too loose of a ship, there. I don't clock my guys in or out, or anything like that. During interviews, they're always real nervous. Hey, my kid plays a sport, am I going to be able to make some games? Like, yes. I mean, that's why you're here at work, right? Is to have family time. So go do those things. What you're going to have to do to keep a pipeline, and to keep your customers happy. If your customers can't get a hold of you, well, that's an issue. But if your customers can reach you and you're delivering the customer service they need, then you're going to be fine. We're not going to tell you to work 80 hours. We're not going to, that's up to you. The office is open. You've got a key. You come in and work, or work from your house as often as you see fit. And I think that's done very well for the staff that we have. They're still here at, 7 a.m, and they're still here sometimes at 7 p.m, but that's not anything that we require. I love that. It's such a great philosophy to be like laser focused on production and not necessarily people having busy work or being present in the office, because you can always find something to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being productive and growing your business.
Yeah. Smart. Like, I've never been a fan of, you've got to make X amount of calls before you can go home today. on there, because our philosophy is, well, great, if I give you a goal of 50 and you reach the first 10 and you're having a decent conversation with them, you're making a sale. I'd rather you do that, than check a box. And so that's the kind of, mentality that we have in our office.
Yeah. Smart. And it gives you a work-life balance too. You're so right. We don't live to work, we work to live, and enjoying that family time is really important.
Exactly.
Which, by the way, you're balancing 3 kiddos, if I understand correctly.
Yes. Yep. My wife and I we have 3 boys, 12, 10, and 6. And she is a school teacher. She teaches special ed. Oh gosh, her campus is probably 3 miles from where I'm sitting in my office. So, that is convenience, that everyone is here fairly close together for, extracurricular activities and things like that. Everybody's fairly close by.
Yeah. Well, God bless her heart and her patience.
Definitely. She is definitely, we all marry up. We'll just say that. So
yeah. Well, and to be outnumbered 4-1 for the boy perspective of it too. That's impressive.
Yes, she is. She's an amazing lady. That's for sure.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I don't always get to speak with someone that's been in this industry for as long as you have. So I have to ask, you talk about failing forward and owning your mistakes and whatnot. And I love that you're humble and brutally honest about it. Take me back. You got in during 2000, and closing 40 loans a month to start is just insane.
That wasn't just me. That was our office.
Okay.
There was 3 or 4 of us, and collectively, we were doing about 40 a month.
That's still a lot, especially for a newbie, but times were good back then. Then we get into 2008, right? And everything that transpired through that whole time frame that we had. Did you have anything that you learned during the hard times? Because we're so cyclical, right? We've got to learn from the bad times and be able to continue our business forward and still maintain. So
yeah, I mean, and I had to learn it personally and as an organization, where we were, like you're saying, so focused on just certain products. We did have to branch out and rebrand a little bit and do some more of those and work a lot harder, for the same or even less, money than you're accustomed to making on that. But it's fun. Also what happened during that time is licensing came into play. So if you remember, you saw a lot of loan officers get out of the business. That was a huge opportunity. I think I remember, don't quote me on this, but I believe Arizona at the time went from about 36,000 loan officers down to like 3,000 or 4,000, overnight when the licensing laws passed. So guess what? We marketed in Arizona. You follow those trends. And back then you had to take a state test for every state license. It was before the national exam was there. I wish it was still the same. We'd taken and passed all those tests, and then the national comes and like, oh, great, okay. But I love that. I mean, it took so many other people out of the business that it gave you other opportunities to work in other than just your local market. And honestly, I think that's what carried us through those times, is just trying to work a little smarter, a little leaner, staff wise through that era. But I think you came out on the other side much more experienced. I talk to all my guys, I'm like, look, I'm not trying to get in your personal business, but don't look at this for sure as a paycheck to paycheck industry. Put your money away, because everything is cyclical, like you're saying, you're going to have some times we're going to reposition things. And, but if you do it right, it's a career, and it's a great career, to be in. You'll give plenty of opportunities to serve others. And during that time, your family, will make a good living as well.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, honestly, the income potential here is limitless. It is in both of our industries. It isn't a lot depending on how successful you are, but from this perspective and our industries that we're in, it's insane what can be achieved as long as you persist and are smart about it, for sure.
Right. And like I said, and align yourself with good companies. There's a lot of good mortgage companies out there. There's a lot of good real estate companies out there. And I'm not saying one has, a secret sauce or an advantage over the other, but basically get with a group of people that have the same, head in the same direction you are, to have the same mindset and same goals in that you do. And you'd be surprised how far you guys can go together. But if somebody has a goal of, say just making in it for the money, and everybody else has, well, hey, I want to serve more. That's going to be a tough marriage, in there, but if you all get on the same page, when you're at the right organization, but, stay there, trust, your powers that be, and go through it together. And then I think it's a very rewarding industry to be in.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's a key component to persisting through the downtimes, as well as having that really strong support system and network that you're able to build personally and professionally, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Super helpful. So if I'm understanding you correctly, you during the hard times, which were it's really good. The market is right now. We're not quite sure what's going to happen over the winter months and into the future. Based on everything going on. But your philosophy was to tighten up internally, right? Look at those bottom line items that you might be able to cut, but then diversify and expand your reach from an outward perspective, because you started getting into different loan categories in different states, right?
We did, but we didn't go too far. I mean, we still stuck with your big three, if you will: conventional, FHA, VA. We kind of stayed there, but we were changing as often as guidelines were changing and laws were being passed at that time, because, it was very consistent change through that time period. But we did get into doing more conventional loans, where before, if, those were underserved at our company, we would refer them out even in some cases, but then we started, getting done. And so that changed. Now it's kind of the opposite to some degree, where it's gotten so busy. There are certain products that we are turning away, we just don't have the bandwidth. I'd rather someone be better served elsewhere than overpromise someone. And that's happened. I can think of a file a couple of months ago that I had, that I saw a loan on paper it was a USDA purchase, and an underwriter did it and kind of dug in a little bit, and it's just one of those things where it's not going to budge. So we referred it out to a different lender, and the veteran, it was a veteran, got into the home, and thank goodness, because that's ultimately what's at stake. It's not my loan. I want that loan to close, whether it be here or somewhere else, and have the veteran get into the home. That's what they've earned. That's what they deserve, even though they were using a different product other than VA. It just made more sense in that case. But sometimes those things happen. And one of the takeaways from there is we stopped doing USDA loans from that point over. We're just like, there's so much, fortunately, there's so much coming in right now that why do a disservice, to some loans that we can't totally fully commit to or get to right now.
Oh my God. So I'm smiling over here for those of you listening on the podcast. I have this huge grin on my face because of what Russell just shared, which I think is so impactful. I have to reiterate it. So you're actually turning away loans, not so that you can chase bigger ones that get you a bigger paycheck, but so the client can be serviced the way that they need to be. Correct?
Correct. Yeah, it just some things just don't make sense. Why get into? If I overpromise someone something, no one wins. It's just a loan that drags out, or everyone gets frustrated. No one has a good experience on that at the end of the day. So why not give that to someone who maybe that is their niche? Let them do that. It's tough to be all things to all people. That's one of the reasons I like VA. I've met a lot of people in the industry that are almost solely conventional, and they're scared of a VA. And a lot of people who are in VA who are scared of conventional. It's just do what you're comfortable with, do what you feel like you're best at, and I think that is a very there's enough loans to go around to do that. And then, like I said, sometimes, yeah, you can cross over and do, but when it doesn't make sense, just recognize that early and get out, and get them over to someone that can take care of them and serve their needs better.
I have to ask, so you're referring out business that could, at the end of the day, build your pocketbook, right? But it's allowing you to provide a better service to those clients that you are working with and to the loan types that you are an expert at. Are you networking and building your professional relationships with others that are specialized in different loan types so that you can refer business to one another?
Yes, we do some things like that. Ultimately, it's up to the consumer, if they want, that referral, that's something we try to build that bridge. It's off also with state licensing. You get to where people in other states know who you are, or they have a client that's worked with you. And they're not licensed in a state, they'll refer that. That's worked really well for us through Homes for Heroes on when we pre-approve someone out of state to go through the affiliate locator and line them up with a Heroes realtor in that area. The Heroes realtors are some of the most loyal realtors I've ever come across from any referral service. And we've used several over the years. And this is by far and away the best group of realtors we've ever worked with. Very rarely do they even try to go with their local guy or anything like that. Like that just doesn't happen. They're grateful they see it. I mean, they're just wired different. I guess anybody who pays to give back, I think that says something about you, why you're in the industry. So that has really, been beneficial to us. But absolutely, you can definitely, the rest of my guys in my office, they're not signed up for the Homes for Heroes group, but I still let them use that network. They still refer out, their deals to other, Homes for Heroes realtors when they have out-of-state pre-approvals. But
oh my gosh, I love that. I did not pay him to say this. I promise you guys. I love that you're using the network like that. And shout out to our real estate specialist.
It's fantastic. There's definitely, you guys have signed up the right realtors. That's for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, our heroes certainly deserve it with the right agents and the right mortgage professionals for sure. So we kind of have to. Let's dive into Homes for Heroes. You kind of already alluded to you having a servant's heart and wanting to serve people, but what really pulled you into Homes for Heroes? And then what have you found to make you so successful with us?
Yeah, good question. Over the years, we've been approached by lots of organizations, to come in and, we give this or we do this, or we do that. And you start looking at it and you can see right through it. There's really not much substance to some of these groups. And it was just like, what's the point? All I'm doing is just paying you a membership fee. There's nothing, there's no organization to this. When Homes for Heroes came along, it had something to it. There was merit to it. It had some teeth, if you will. And there's definitely a lot of substance. And that's what I saw, with the charity organizations giving back, with the how everyone was networked to give back in the marketing systems that are in place. There's huge value in that. And then it's up to you to use it how best fits your local area. One marketing way is not going to work for someone else. There's not I use the phrase secret sauce. There's not just one blanket way that works for everybody in every market. You've got to kind of figure it out using your own skill set, your own SOI, and you can apply that, and you can go as far down the road as you want to with it. It's limitless on how, but it's all based on how you market in your local or sometimes even national level, depending on where you're licensed. But I've definitely enjoyed being into it. I found that realtor network after the fact, and that was just kind of, the icing on the cake for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think playing to your strengths is so incredibly important. It's the only way that you can be consistent and that you're going to stick with something. You can't force yourself to do what you suck at or what you hate to do, right? It's just, you're determined to fail at that point. So what is working? What's playing to your strengths and working for you from a marketing perspective right now?
Just talking about the program, to be honest with you. One of my sons had a birthday party, when we social distanced in our yard the other day, and a lot of his friends' parents were teachers. And, we were talking, and, I told him about the Homes for Heroes program. Just say, look, if you buy or sell, you're going to get this. And they're like, I had no idea. You'd be surprised how many people have no idea about the program. So just open your mouth, letting people know about it, because you're letting one person know and they really like it. And that teacher's telling 3 other people. Next thing you know, people are calling out of the woodworks. You have no idea who they are. So just making people more aware, making it a part of your sales tools. You're all selling features, whether it's a loan product or whether it's your real estate services, you're selling a feature. Make sure that this is a top of mind feature that you are bringing up and letting people know. And then from there, you can get creative as you want. You're talking whatever events, pizza parties, that sort of thing. But I think it all starts with being consistent and just opening your mouth.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me a little bit more about how that conversation goes. Are you leading with the sale initially? Are you pushing yourself initially? Or are you just kind of explaining a benefit that they have available to them?
That they have available to them. It was funny because that teacher, I'm at my wife's campus, pre-COVID, probably more than I want it to be, to pick up a kid or, if someone's sick or got in trouble or whatever the case. So I'm always I usually wear a hat almost every day, except for the church usually. And it's usually Homes for Heroes or, my company. I'm at their campus all the day. A lot of the teachers know what I do just from seeing me around. This particular teacher at the party says, Russ, what do you do? Someone told me that you're a pastor. I'm like, no. I was like, have you met me? Unfortunately, that's not the case. And I told her what I do. I was like, I do mortgages. And she was having the conversation of her husband's in law enforcement and them talking about, their division might be defunded soon, with what's going on politically. So we may have to move. And I said, well, hey, we hope you don't. But if you do, if you sell your house and you use a Homes for Heroes realtor, this is what they offer, and if you buy your home and, so she was like thrilled about that. So I had no idea that was in existence. I'm not chasing the loan, those things will come, just by a byproduct of, telling people about the program. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, fantastic. She knows about the program, she'll get to save some money. And, that is definitely a reward in itself.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, besides being an exceptional communicator, right? What else are you doing to lead gen right now, especially with COVID going on? Yeah.
Our company we still do a lot of direct mail.
Okay.
We still do landing pages, we do things there. We're kind of best of both worlds. So we get some referrals from our corporate office, and then we're encouraged to go out in our local markets as well and drum up local stuff as well, and make as big of a footprint as we can. A lot of the local stuff has just been, for me or any of the guys, just word of mouth. Getting together with some realtors. Sometimes they go play a round of golf. Sometimes just go to lunch. Sometimes, just meet for coffee, the basic things. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary or, we're not, there's no new formula that we're bringing. I think we're just going out and doing it and putting our best foot forward at it. And as we get the national leads coming in, we're still pitching it, still bringing it up. We're mentioning it to the realtors that are involved on those transactions and, seeing if that's something that they want to get involved with is the Heroes program in their area. But just, trying to using that to bring more value, to what we're offering other than just say, what's your interest rate, type scenario.
I can't stand that question. There's so many follow-up questions to ask to determine what the answer actually is, right?
Absolutely, there is.
So you're really treating not just obviously your clients and your heroes and the consumers that come to you as customers, you're treating agents as customers too. Would that be an accurate statement?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just like them, I mean, we are in a service industry. I mean, when we really get down to it. So, you want to bring value to a realtor, a title company, I mean, or is our funding department easy to mesh with? Just there's all sorts of things, on every level that it takes all of us, as a team to get a loan done.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of, as much as you can, face-to-face relationship building, right? Socially distanced appropriately, of course. With agents, do you find that the Homes for Heroes program and being able to offer that to other people's hero clients, whether they're a Homes for Heroes specialist or not, has helped you grow and build relationships with other agents as well? Oh,
for sure. Because, it's first you get the, wait, you do what? You give back. Why? It's a different concept, for a lot of people, but not for very long. They usually figure out real quick and see the value in that also. But absolutely, I think, the word is getting out more and more, but the message isn't broadcast, loud enough. But on the same side, I mean, you can't go out and sponsor sports stadiums and things like that, because to me, that's a waste of funds. I think the slow, almost grassroots effort, if you will, is going to be the most beneficial to the veterans in the long haul, because that's where the money's going, is back to help, assist the veterans and not, to promote ourselves. So I love what you're doing, and love how, the direction the company's going in, for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we grew with grassroots efforts, no large marketing or advertising campaigns or anything like that, which I think it's really how you can get ingrained into different areas, right? You truly specialize in something, and then you've got an actual podium to stand on, if you will, when you are a true specialist. And then word kind of spreads like wildfire once you do that.
I think it speaks to the value you bring, that you are able to grow that way. And not, just because we've thrown, X amount of Facebook ads at you 24/7, you're growing, through positive experience and not just brand recognition.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, for sure. Well, I'm glad our philosophies line up in that effort. It helps us resonate together for sure as partners in this. Talk to me about, have you had any game changers, not career makers, because you've been pretty soundly successful over the years, but anything that helped you kind of shatter a ceiling or a plateau that you were hitting? You and I touched on this a few minutes earlier. We were talking about personality profiling on that, and in particular, a system called the DISC, a DISC system, and figuring out who you are, and then figuring out what your strengths are as a communicator, and then figuring out who you communicate well with, and the ones you don't, try to better yourself, to be a more rounded communicator, so that you can communicate with people how they want to be communicated with, not just you conveying a message you think they need to hear. So that has really been helpful to me. For certain but I can't stress enough of realizing your own strengths and who you are, and getting to know yourself, and don't change that. You be you, and that's your best asset, that you have, and that'll stick with you. But that's probably, I know that's a very basic thing, but it is a lesson that I needed and has really helped me. Yeah, I'm huge into personality profiling, not just for knowing yourself and figuring out what your own strengths are, or maybe why you process. I'm a high C, like off the charts C personality, which means I love details and I'm very organized and all that type of stuff. My husband is not. Craig's actually a DIC. I'll let your imagination run wild with that personality profile for sure. It's very much like it says, but he's very driven and a driver and a doer, if you will. So figuring out how you meld your personalities together, I think that was my biggest aha in DISC profiling, is not just discovering myself, but discovering why others act the way they do, and then how I can complement communicating or interacting with the other person that I am.
Right. And in the mortgage industry, we laugh is like, it's the age old processors versus loan officers, and agreeants or, underwriters. But the truth is you want that difference. That is what the strength in that your process and underwriters bring is because they're wired different, if you will, and it allows them to be more attentive to the file and not, end up with a loan you got to buy back at the end of the day. And, same thing. That's why your loan officer, you typically has a lot of I, in them, a lot of sales in there. You don't want them processed on a loan because, you could have 3 pages in front of you and it'd be stamped clear to close, and let's just get it done. But that's not the, we can go back to 2008 with a lot of stories, along those lines, but that's not how you want to operate. But recognizing that you are different and embracing those strengths that those differences bring to the entire organization.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes, that's the other thing I had to get through and move past as we took on more employees and bringing in new people to the team. Was personality profiling was always a part of that new team member orientation. And it's not to pigeonhole you, right? It's not to put you in this box, and none of them are wrong or bad by any means. And you've got to be able to overcome that. I'm a what? Like that feeling for people who haven't done it before, to say, no, this is actually a tool and a resource for us to get to know you better and see how we best complement you, which has definitely helped us grow. I don't know if you guys use that in your office as well, but that was a game changer.
We'll do some personality profiling to make sure we have people in the right positions, for certain.
Definitely. Very cool. Well, any other nuggets or pieces of wisdom that you wanted to share before I go ahead and hop into my rapid fire questions for you?
Not that I can think of. But like I said, I feel like we're pretty straightforward. This is who we are. This is what we do. And like I said, it's been a good ride, and we hope to be fortunate enough to enjoy many years to come.
Yeah, I love how simple your business philosophy and your life philosophy is. It's really just a stripped down version. And I think that's what really helps you. It's not a new shiny object. It's not like a brand new system that's hit the market or anything like that. It is building relationships, being human, being authentically yourself, and just letting that shine through, and the business will follow, right?
That's, for better or worse, that's the approach we've taken. So, some may disagree and some may say you could have done this or could have done that. And they're probably right. There's no right or wrong way, to do things. But as long as, you're happy in what you're doing, then I think you're in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always could haves. There's always different ways that work for different people, but just bumper yourself so that you stay in your own lane, and you'll get a strike keeping down that alleyway for sure. All right. So I know you're in Texas, which it's much warmer there than I am, but are you ready for a few rapid fire questions from me?
Let's do it.
All right. First things first, if you could go back to when you first got into the mortgage business back in 2000, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Be patient on there. You're not going to learn everything overnight. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Just learn it line upon line, step by step, and just enjoy things more. But definitely be patient.
That's easier said than done.
Yes, it is.
Oh, too funny. Which I have to ask, I know this isn't a part of my 3 questions I'll ask you, but when you first started out, you really lead with serving the loans that you're good at so that you can serve your clients as best as you can. Was that how you started out mentally in the industry, or were you like, hey, I'm going to do every single loan I can possibly get? And then that whole mentality of serving those that really want to work with you because of your specialty, was that acquired, or did you start out like that?
So we started out very, again, VA heavy. This was way before you could just get with a marketing company and buy leads. So we would even, go to Birmingham or some of these other cities, around the Southeast, and we'd stay there all week. And during the day, we'd go to the courthouse and thumb through record books. We knew what rates were during certain time periods. So we'd go get where the deeds were recorded during those time periods. And we were literally handwriting our names and addresses of who bought during those times. And then when we'd come back to the office, we were doing our own mail. So we were going straight after VA already. But as far as learning more about who you were serving, probably took some time because I was, a lot younger and a lot more immature than I am right now. So but you gained a respect, for them as you would go into the homes. I mean, I think of one guy in particular. I learned what a VA disability rating was, and learned there's a million reasons you could have a disability rating for. That was something I wasn't familiar with. I remember going into someone's home, and it was probably one of the more fit clients I'd had. Very muscular, very in shape. And he tells me he's 100% disabled through the VA. I'm like, what? And then he starts telling me about, he got an anthrax inoculation that went south, and you couldn't tell it physically. But then, then you start realizing, and you're learning firsthand of clients with PTSD, and things like that, things you can't see physically, but then you start to learn more and empathize of what they've given for what we have, that exchange, you hear people, a lot of people have given on their all, and it's not just physical, for a lot, it's mental, for a lot of these guys. And that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. There's several other, stories that are just heartbreaking, that some of these guys have gone through. So, you kind of, you learn, but it's been great to be in those positions and be that audience to, a lot of these veterans to be taught. And I wish more people had that opportunity, and took the time, whether it's your family, you don't have it in your family or not, to listen to those stories and to really learn because there's no other way you can learn it. I mean, there's no other way. There's no other venue. There's no Hollywood movie that's going to teach you those things. But to get it firsthand is really humbling and just makes you proud. Makes you proud of where we live and the freedoms we all enjoy.
Yeah. I think that's a life lesson well learned, especially the younger you can learn it, the better, right? Hearing people's stories and knowing that they're all experiencing their own, they're living out their own life and their own life story. And there's a lot of stuff going on in their world that we can't necessarily see on the surface. Right.
Yeah. And then that story, and then you go in and you help somebody is awesome. I mean, one of the most rewarding loans I've done was a cash out loan. It wasn't some huge amount. It was a very small amount. But the conversation after, the guy was like, I always put doing a refi off as something bad that you shouldn't do. I had an uncle that, he would refi, whatever the story was. We ended up saving these guys through a cash out, debt consolidation, $1,200 a month on there, just by, $1,200. And then coming to him is like, that's life changing for my wife and I. We are now able to not be just have this amount of debt, credit card debt staring at us. It's gone. It feels fantastic. I can have a savings account now that I'm putting money in every month, and it feels amazing. He's like, thank you, for doing that. And, and that's like, hey, that's the least we can do. Thank you for letting us have the opportunity to walk you through and show you those steps, on there. So, it's showing, looking at what they go through every day and the worries they have to put up with. We're probably around the same age. We weren't taught those things in school. I had one class where they taught you how to balance a checkbook, and that's all they taught you about money. So, it's fantastic to go in and show someone that who hadn't heard these concepts and show them how they're going to save money. And, the check we get is very insignificant on that but you've changed someone's life. It feels fantastic. When you do.
Yeah. It's all about the impact that you can have, not necessarily the income. And that is a game changer in your professional life as well. If you focus on the impact that you're making, the income does follow for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure you're hearing in the industry, there's a lot of companies out there who are trying to replace us and get rid of us, but you can't have a machine or a computer teach that stuff. Teach it to someone in a way that they understand, and counsel them on their finances. But when somebody gives you the opportunity, and it's back to the personality profile, if you how to convey that message, to how they're in position to receive it. Like I said, you can't teach that by a machine. So there'll always be a place, for us as loan officers and real estate professionals in this business.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys are at all interested in personality profiles, just a side note, there's a ton that you can take online for completely free. I know Robert Rohn is a big personality profile doctorate in the field of DISC specifically. There's Enneagrams, there's a ton of different types of personality profile, all that kind of stuff that you can do. But DISC specifically, Robert Rohn would be a good resource, or just Google it. You can find out what you are quite quickly and for free too. So.
Absolutely. And yeah, I strongly suggest you do it. Abby and I were speaking earlier, and my wife and I still go to family reunions. Now we start tagging each other's family members and having fun with that. They have no idea what we're talking about, but it's a lot of fun. You notice it if you have children, you'll notice from a very early age, that those characteristics start playing out, and they don't change, much as they go on. But, they're going down too far of a tangent, but it's a very interesting thing that will help you in both your personal and professional lives for sure.
Yeah, I use it all the time in parenting and in leading my team. I mean, it's kind of similar to lead people, right? Or to parent, not that I'm a parent to any of our affiliates by any means, but it's very similar in learning and just seeing how they interact. And it's enlightening for sure, and useful.
Absolutely.
All right. Not so rapid fire question number 2. I don't know if you're a big reader or not, but if not, what's one of your all-time favorite books, or maybe all-time favorite podcast series or something along those lines?
Oh, wow. Podcast. I'll be honest. I have not totally, I'm not going to say embraced it, because I have nothing. I think it's a great concept, but I have not fully jumped off in the deep end on those. I don't follow. I've listened to a few random podcasts over the years, maybe just like one episode, and then I'm moving on. I probably should stick with some, but it's tough. It's tough to find time, to read. I have not read a lot of books lately. So that's a tough one. I mean, by the time I get home and we get, struggle to get kids in bed, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's just my kids, I'm not sure, but I'm done. I'm ready to shut it down and, try it again the next day. So, but that is probably one thing I need to do better at, is find a good series and maybe take my mind off of everything else.
Are you doing anything to grow, whether it's personal or professional, it doesn't matter, but do you subscribe to an email campaign that gets sent to you on a weekly basis that you're always turning to for different ways of thinking or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm in a loan officer group that I subscribe to, and it's actually one that you do pay for, so you are getting some value out of that. That has helped. Other than that, I like I said, I really enjoy the mentorship that I have at our corporate office. I rely heavily on those guys, but outside of my organization, that's probably all that I do right now. Could I do more, and should I do more? Yeah, that is something that I need to dive in and use more. I'm definitely a believer in that, but I need to get that deep into.
I should have known that your answer would have been the people help you grow and be better, because that is you to a T. That's a you answer for sure. All right. Last but not least, this one's an easy one.
Okay.
Hopefully. What's your favorite room in your house?
Favorite room in the house? The deck. I like being out on the deck, especially this time of year. Here in Texas, My wife and I can sit out there. It takes a while for the kids to find us, and the weather is fantastic. The humidity is low. Birds are still around, and it's peaceful. I really enjoy that. So I definitely like our outdoor space. To just I like the sense of openness and the just the fall weather for sure.
Yeah, I think COVID has really driven that home for people that weren't appreciating their outdoor space before.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, Russell, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time, especially in these busy times, to share your thoughts and wisdom. So I appreciate you, buddy, and I appreciate you being a part of Homes for Heroes for sure.
Thanks for having us. We enjoy it, and we definitely look forward to the relationship for years to come. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We will see you guys on Real Talk in 2021. All right? Crazy. Have a great Thanksgiving, buddy, and a wonderful holiday season as well, okay?